I'm Bishop Robert. Each life is a story. We don't remember days, we remember moments that touch our hearts. I want to invite you to come on in and have a seat in my study. Let's you and I spend a few minutes together and consider a verse of Scripture and how to apply it to those moments that fill up our lives. My hope is that it speaks to your heart, your mind, and your soul, and I hope you'll be back often. Welcome. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? There's nothing quite like the take your breath away heartbreak when you first discover the betrayal. The pain of realizing that your enemy is actually someone you trusted as a friend. In my own life, there have been several times when that treachery came at the hands of someone who claimed to be a follower of Jesus. And those times have been the most painful. Several. When I was in Israel in 2015, an Israeli soldier was stabbed in the back by a female Palestinian terrorist. The soldier was on routine patrol. The woman stepped out of a doorway as he passed and just stabbed into his neck and shoulder. Betrayal's like being stabbed in the back. Comes out of nowhere, without warning. And all of a sudden you have searing pain, shock, and a great deal of blood. Turning around to see a trusted friend holding the knife makes it all the worse. Our verses today remind us that Jesus understood this pain all too well. Our first reading shows us that he felt this pain. And our second one demonstrates his response and lays out what he expects ours to be in painful situations. Here's the first reading. After saying these things, Jesus was troubled in his spirit and testified, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me." And when he had dipped the morsel of bread, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. Then after he had taken the morsel, Satan entered into him. And Jesus said to him, "What you're going to do quickly." And our second reading says, "Therefore, since we're surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is now seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured from sinners such hostility against himself, so that you may not grow weary or faint-hearted." We're halfway through Holy Week. Let's just take a moment to catch our breath and consider how to face the pain that each life will inevitably face. But take strength from Christ's example and refuel for the last leg of this journey, because Sunday is coming soon. In our readings today, Jesus exposes the one who will betray him. If you notice, Jesus reacts in a rather peculiar way. I mean, if it were one of us who faced the one who'd betray us, I'm satisfied that we'd react much differently. But not Jesus. When I was the one betrayed, I was initially consumed with pain and anger, and then began to deliberately limit the amount of damage. Jesus simply says, "Whatever it is you have to do, get it done quickly." He then turns his attention back to the task at hand and determines to make the entire situation into an opportunity to glorify the Father. How many of us have found ourselves in situations where we felt as if someone has done us wrong? And yet, instead of allowing God to be our vindicator, we get the wind knocked out of our sails and find ourselves adrift in a sea of bitterness, anger, and self-pity. Maybe us, but not Jesus. Jesus sets the example for us to stand in the face of adversity, look it in the eye, and move on with life. We see this dynamic in the second reading from today that comes from the book of Hebrews. We are encouraged to run our race looking to Jesus as our example, as heaven cheers us on. We must not forget in this season that we entertain a great cloud of witnesses who have gone through trials and tribulations much greater than our own. Be encouraged. Follow Christ's example. Never lose heart. Don't give up just because the cards seem to be stacked against you. Nah, instead listen for the cheers coming from that great cloud of witnesses. Keep your eye on the prize. Press on to victory. Remember, Sunday's coming.